Sean, stop moving your head.
Stretching my neck.
Hey everybody, this is Sadie and Sean Have No Friends, presented by our, I always say this, that sounds dumb when I go back. We have no friends, but it's presented by our friends at Talent Co Real Estate. And I know that's so dumb, but I can't help it. Because they are our friends, and the home of the week is so cute, and it's on land. And I live in an area where there's an HOA, and I just want to jump out of the fucking window sometimes because it's just so dumb. And I understand like having, like, if you have a car in your front yard with weeds, but we put up a little bit of lattice with some tasteful vine plants, and all of a sudden they got to come down. That's money out of our pocket, which means Talent Co Real Estate, they're looking pretty sweet with their properties where you don't have an HOA. They got those. Go to homeandnoco.com. And I'm sorry, I just vented.
It's all right. I have an HOA too, and those assholes, they when I moved into my house a year ago, they didn't send me the bill for the HOA. I didn't ever get it. And
Okay.
so, which just sounds good because then you don't pay it. Except for the fact that if you don't pay it, it gives you late charges after late charges
Yeah.
after late charges after late charges. The next thing you know, there's lawyers calling me and they're like, "Hey, you're due in court because they're suing you for not paying your HOA." I was like, "I didn't even know I had a damn HOA." And
Who is this?
they barely worked with me. They took like off a month or two of the late fees, but that's it. And other than that, I still had to pay. I think my HOA is like $500 a year. I ended up paying like $1,200.
Oh,
On their mistake.
That would make me incredibly mad.
But I talked to a lawyer friend of mine, and he's like, "You won't win in court. When you sign the papers, to buy your house, it said you had an HOA, so you should have done research to figure out your HOA and pay it."
So we last summer put a lot of new landscaping stuff in. We kind of turned the side of our house. We put the trampoline in the ground, and there's like a walkway, and then there's a play set, and we had all this done, and we planted trees. We love trees and bushes. I love it. It feels like an enchanted forest because we're kind of like covered. It's so great. But we did this, and one of the things that we did was we have our fences, like a 5-foot fence. We also have, I guess I'm just going to say it because I don't give a shit. We have a pedophile who lives, it's not Ashton Kutcher's brother, but we do have a pedophile who lives a block over from us.
Legit.
You could look that up in your own neighborhood.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why I didn't know if like this person just pissed you off, so you're going to call him a pedophile.
No. I would never do that. No.
Legitimately, they're like on the list.
They're legitimately on the list. And so Ryan's like, I want to plant trees all along the fence. Just even though, like a tree isn't like going to stop a pedophile, I would imagine. But, just to know that someone can't just walk by and look directly into the yard, I guess. And so we did a bunch of trees, and then we did like 4 feet of like a cross of lattice with growing plants, with flowering plants. And it was so beautiful. And they were so great. And the HOA pulled by and they saw it, and we got written up. You got to take it down. $2,000 in fines. Okay.
Did you pay it?
Well, so we had to have the landscaper come back out, take everything out because the lattice was on poles, which were cemented in the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know. Anyway, and so they had to have it taken out, and then we had to buy trees to cover that hole. And so Ryan went in, and the woman who took the money, he was like, you got to take the fees off. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so they did end up taking the fees off. But the woman goes, "Oh, yes, I remember you. I was actually the one that reported you because I drove by and saw it." And Ryan's like, "I can't believe she's telling me this."
Yeah, you don't admit those things.
Yeah, she's like, "I drove by and I saw it, and it is very beautiful, but it just is too..." And it's not far. It's like a 5-foot fence, and this is like 6 foot. It's not.
Oh,
like
you can't put it. That's the broken of the rule is you can't go above the fence.
Yeah, but our trees can. Trees can go above your fence, but nothing else can. Which again, I understand if you got a car in your front yard and there's weeds growing through the tires, and damn, get it together. But like, It did not look bad, and she even said it, but she was straight up like, "Yeah, I turned your asses in." She was kind of an old lady thug, it sounds like. She just
I
didn't
know
give
who
a
turned
shit.
me in, but we have a basketball hoop, like one that's on wheels, and
Yeah.
it's heavy. And so,
Yeah.
like in the summertime, I set the basketball hoop up at the end of the driveway and it just stays there. And I got a picture, like somebody drove by and took a picture of it and turned me in because my kids were having way too much fun playing
Don't
basketball
you
in
hate
our front yard.
people?
Yeah. And so it has to be taken down every single day, is what it says. And if you don't, the next time it's a $500 fine. And
Shut
so
up.
every
Every
single night,
day?
if the kids want to play basketball, I have to take the basketball hoop down and put it. Not only does it have to come down, it has to go behind a fence. So I have to take it behind a fence.
They don't even wanna see
Yeah, I don't want to see that
any
basketball hoop.
signs.
Yeah, any signs that people might be having fun in this neighborhood? No.
I see you have the HOA issue that I have,
God,
where I'm just like, don't you have shit to do? But then again, like, say I'm a horrific artist and I want to hang a piece on the side of my fence. I guess that's kind of, if it goes above the fence, that is the rule. Like, who's to say just because it looks nice? If we broke the rules and didn't read them close enough, shit, that's on us. You can't really argue your way out of that.
well,
But I
that's
just
true.
thought, damn, she's got some balls being like, I turned you in.
Yeah, I would never be that guy. I would be like, nope, it was definitely her.
What?
It was
I've
not
seen
me.
the
I
house.
did
It
not.
looks
Yeah,
so good.
I
That person sucks so bad. I'm going to be angry if they come back. I'm going to tell them they were wrong. I
for
know I'd make a complete story up, but
For sure, me
um,
too. But HOAs are in certain situations. I drove through my old neighborhood that I grew up in here recently because I had some time to kill when I was up in that area and I hadn't been there for a long time. And the HOA is expired in that area. I think it just doesn't exist. And there's a
yeah.
lot of people who have painted their house bright colors,
Oh, I know.
like
See, so
bright,
I
bright
get
colors.
it. I get the HOA. I get it. There's a reason for it, the money. But it's just when they nitpick about things where I'm like, come on, these are like beautiful flowering. Everybody thought they were beautiful. I don't know, but whatever. We broke the rules because we're dangerous like that.
That's well,
And we got our hand
um,
slapped.
sounds like you almost got more than a hand slap. Oh, you did get more than a hand slap because it cost you a lot of money, I'm sure, to
Yeah.
put this up and then take it down.
And then have to put something else up in its place. Yeah, it was great. But again, we're the idiots if we didn't follow the rules, I guess. But she could have been like, well, she could have been cool about it.
That is true. She could have been cool about it, but her job is to not be cool about it. Her job is to enforce the rules, and that's what she did. So good
Sean,
for
we could
her.
argue all day. Stop taking this bitch's side, okay? Listen, here are some things. Speaking of money that I just feel is so unnecessarily spent. When like HOA fines, if it's really something silly like your basketball hoop or my lattice. But I have this list. Do you want to do a list today?
That's fine. We did one yesterday,
We
but
did one
we'll
yesterday, but
just be the
I keep
podcast of
changing
lists.
them.
What I'll tell you before you even say this unnecessary. I finally looked at the bill because it just comes automatically out of my thing, out of my account. But
Yeah.
I happened to open the bill today, and so it's fresh on my mind when you bring up this list of unnecessary things that you pay for. On my way home, I drive on I-25, and I have a 40-minute one-way drive into work and home. And there is now an extra lane that's an HOV lane.
Oh my God. Did you do it? You
Well, I
got
do
in
it
it and
every
didn't
day
pay it?
because it's so necessary. I'm sure I save 20 minutes by going in it because a lot of times traffic stop, but you get in that lane and it's smooth sailing the whole way. And so I do it every day to and from work, and I just kind of ignore the fact that it costs me money every time, and it pulls it right out of my account because I have one of the transponder things.
Do you know
But
what annoys me?
I looked at the bill.
Do you know how much?
Well,
Is there a comma?
no comma, but
Are there
still.
two commas?
No, no. Uh, this is just every day driving to work and back. It was $600.
Oh shit. So these were fines. This wasn't like
No,
what
it's
you
not fines. That's just the toll fee.
that's the toll fee. Oh
Again,
my
every
God.
day to and from work and like the whole way, the whole entire lane. And I thought you got a
So, okay,
discount with the
wait.
transponder thing because it comes automatically out of your account so they don't have to worry about chasing
I
you
don't know.
around. So they always used to give you a discount for that. Now they don't. It's
Okay.
I pay what it says right on the sign. And I thought it was like half price this whole time.
God, I hate getting those random like kicks in the dick where it's like 600
$600,
bucks and you're like,
$600 a month. If I keep
what?
doing it, and now I'm so used to it, I can't go back to sitting in traffic. I have to keep doing it. And so $600 a month, that's like a full car payment.
Just to drive on the road that
Just
your taxes paid for. I shouldn't laugh. I'm sorry. But here's what else is on the list. This is what people think are a total ripoff. And I would agree with you, Sean. You should be able to drive on the fucking road, whatever lane you want to be in. But you
yeah,
can't.
I
Only
pay for a
rich
license plate.
people.
My license plate pays for the roads, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So this first one I totally think is dumb, but um people think it's wrong to print a sticker on a book that says now on Netflix. And I disagree. I like to read the books before I see a movie. So if it says coming to Netflix or now on, that's a selling point to me. But it's kind of dumb for somebody to write that in, right?
I don't read books.
Oh, no. What about number two? People think that this is a giant waste of space and money. Having a mandatory hotel minibar that A takes up a ton of space and B this always spooks me. It will literally charge you if you touch
You
anything.
pick it up. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's the worst if you have kids.
Yeah, because they don't get it and they open
Well,
the
yeah,
fridge and they're like ding 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 ding.
there's M&Ms. I'm picking them up.
Yeah.
And now you just paid $8 for a bag of M&Ms.
Yeah, it is a trap and a half. It used to be you could take something out, look at it. Now I'll try something over here. Now, it has a ticker because what they want to do is have you pay like outlandish prices, like triple the price for some Pringles. But why do Pringles and M&Ms taste so much better when you're in a hotel?
I've never done it, so I didn't know they tasted better. Next time I'm there, I'll have to pay the $8 to try the Pringles.
One time Ryan and I went on one of his business trips and I got pretty drunk and I went back to the room and I ate like a groceries haul worth of Pringles and M&Ms, what we would spend. I'm like, well, we're not eating this week because mommy got drunk and ate 16
Sometimes
items from the mini bar. Leave her alone. She was crying.
sometimes when these record labels send me out to see artists, they don't make me put like a card down for incidentals in the room. The label pays for the room and they put down the card. So that's when I'm going to eat the Pringles.
Wow, Sean, what a life you live.
Morgan Wallen has enough money to pay for my hotel room
Oh,
Pringles.
name drop. That's hot. Okay, number three, I totally agree with this. And I thought this was just a personal problem, but I'm seeing that women are facing this everywhere. People are saying a total ripoff, the crotch size on shorts. This is a thing. I knew it was a conspiracy, and now it's true. They sell you enough cloth to cover 3 times more crotch. It's like the weirdest thing, and I put shorts on that I've had since like, college time, and they're great. They still fit right there, but I don't know, maybe it's because they've been worn down, but they do sell shorts now that are so tight in the crotch, it's like painful. What
Why
about you?
is the moose knuckle like a fashion statement these days?
I hope it becomes one because I will be the queen. I'll be walking around, they'll be like, she's the Cindy Crawford of camel toes. And I will finally shine in my life. Something else.
Do y'all girls tell each other when you got one of them going on and you don't
Oh
know about it?
yeah.
Is that like a booger in the nose? Because sometimes I'm afraid to tell my friends. It has to be a certain closeness of friends before I feel comfortable saying you got a booger in the nose. Would you go up to a stranger and say, "Hey, your camel toe showing"?
No, because camel toe, a booger you could pick out and flick somewhere. Camel toe, there's a process that you have to do to unleash yourself from the beast. And
You can't just like grab the cloth of the and pull.
women aren't usually like men where they just grab their crotch at random times and pull and adjust and twist. Like we try to kind of hide the fact that we have an Arby's drive-through down there. It's
Here's
like a
what I'd
car
rather have.
wash.
I would rather have somebody in King Super seeing me pulling my crotch than seeing my whole vagina through my pants.
Okay, so you would be okay with someone at Safeway walking up and going, "Sir, your balls are showing through your shorts."
I mean, I would hope it came with a compliment. Them are some nice balls, but they're showing.
Your tiny balls are showing. Are those balls or marbles? Um, okay, the next thing that people say is just a complete rip off in life. I think a lot of people agree with you and they agree with me, but having minimum tip amounts. What if you don't want to tip? And I know that they always say, don't feel like you have to, but then sometimes they stare at you. And so it's like, haha.
Well,
And
this
I know
isn't.
you don't tip, but I do. I get the guilt and I'm like, I guess a dollar, $2.
Well, this said minimum tip amounts, and usually there's only minimum tip amounts on like big parties at restaurants, and that's
Yeah.
fair. I mean, if you're going to bring
No,
in
that
10
is
or 12
fair.
people, I feel like you should have to tip them no matter what. I think that's the minimum tip amounts I'm okay with, but the like tipping on my Subway sandwich seems obnoxious.
But they're still making the food. What about tipping on a coffee like at Starbucks?
Again,
Every place does
here's my
that.
golden rule in tipping, and I've said it before, but in case you haven't heard it, I'm going to remind you of this so you can use it. If you get your product, if it's a food item, if it's edible, if you get it before they ask for a tip, don't tip because they can't stick their weenie in it. If if
I thought this was
if
a real life
if they
hack,
ask,
but it's
like at
not.
no, this is a hack. If at Dutch Bros they ask you for a tip and they have not made your drink yet, tip them because if you don't, you could end
If
up with a
they're
loogie in your beverage.
okay. So what's
If
that
you
rule
have your
called?
food in hand already, no
The
tip.
tip
If they
dip?
haven't made it and they've asked for a tip, tip them.
Okay. Well, that's good advice, Sean. That's some
Thank
sage
you.
advice coming from
You're
you.
welcome.
It's something that I think is a complete ripoff and so weird. And I see it more and more, and that's on social media when people will ask people to give them money for shit, just like money. It's like, hey, I've seen it done with bachelorette parties. I've seen it done with people who are moving. I've seen it done. And I understand that, like, okay, the moving one might pass because they're trying to get out maybe of a situation and they're stuck and they need help. And that's, but when people are like, hey, my homies and I are going to Cabo for a week, actually saw one like that for a bachelor party. And it's like, if anyone could give me some money, I really want to go. And I wanted to respond and be like, yeah, I want to fucking go too, sir. I also want to go to Cabo for a week. But you see, I have to work and make the money. This was a different time. But I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? That's always
Did you
so
click on it?
odd.
I always click on the GoFundMe's. It doesn't matter if it's
I
for like
know.
grandma that died or if it's for a trip to Cabo or what. I always want to go look because it'll show you if they raised any money. There was one for a bachelorette party recently, and it was for a good looking girl. And I clicked on it, and she was like 2 times over the amount she had asked for. She'd asked for like,
What? That's
I think
because
she
she
was
was
looking. I
hot.
think she was looking for $1,500, and it was at $3,000. And I was just like, you all are crazy. It's like the OnlyFans syndrome. Y'all think you're gonna get laid by this chick because you gave her $15 to go on a bachelorette party. You got no chance. She just took your $15 and ate a drank a mimosa.
Oh my God. I love that. Now, this is something I was telling my friends who also like scary movies, which nerd alert, that sounded nerdy. But I was telling them about this shark movie that I guess is really good. It's like on Netflix and it's called like A Shark in Paris. And it's just about a giant shark, right? And so I asked yesterday, I saw this friend and I'm like, did you watch the shark movie? How did you like it? And she goes, well, there were subtitles and their mouths didn't line up. And so the whole time, that's all I could look at was the fact that their mouths didn't line up. And people think that that's kind of a ripoff. But what are they supposed to do? Make two movies in different languages?
Well, don't watch movies that aren't in English. That's a pretty simple one.
Well, no, but I mean, that's interesting to me because I don't even notice that stuff. Does that bother you? This bothers a good number of people.
I'm not artsy enough, I guess. I've never watched a foreign movie. Every movie I've ever watched is in English.
Well, sometimes Netflix comes out with a banger of a movie and then you turn it on and it's like got Korean, like Hunger Games. If you watch, no, not Hunger Games. What's that other one? The Asian version.
Yeah, it was a Korean thing.
Korean version. Dang it, I'm
No,
sorry.
it was Hunger Games, I think.
No, Hunger Games was with Jennifer Lawrence. She had a bow and arrow. This was It
I know the
was,
one. Yeah, they play
you know,
games and they to the
they
death.
die. They
Yes.
slowly die, and the
Yeah.
winner gets like
Yes.
$50 million.
Yes.
Oh God,
I
see.
forgot. Yes, I know what you're talking about
But
though, but
sometimes it
I
comes
don't
out
watch
with
that.
something where you're
Yeah, that's
like,
not a banger.
"Damn,
No, I don't
okay."
need to watch it. If
I'm
it's
not
good
t
enough, they'll do it in America. I'm American.
See, this next one I don't agree with because I'm an asshole, I guess, because this one is saving seats with a single shoe on vacation. I spread that shit out. Sometimes it's got my purse on one and then someone needs a seat, so I put a shoe, and then on the next one my hat goes down, and like, but I don't get offended when people do that. They just are saving spots.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me either. Sometimes at church they do that.
Where they save seats. Do you ever
Yeah,
stand up and say,
they save
"Power of
seats.
Christ compels you"?
They give they give you coffee at church, and they'll take their coffee cups and they spread them out across the seats. And I'm like, but there's nowhere for me to go. So move your coffee.
Um,
I think they just don't want people sitting next to them. They're not actually like saving a seat for anybody. They're just keeping other people from sitting next to them because they're good, godly people.
yeah, they don't like mouth breathers like you. What about this one? And I agree with this. This is kind of like a newer generation thing, nothing that our ancestors dealt with, but Apple products, they're more money to fix than they are to get you in a new phone. And that's where the system continues to go. It's a circle of never ending because you're like, damn, my phone's almost paid off. And then all of a sudden it starts getting glitchy. Stuff doesn't open. It's getting slow. Why doesn't my phone ring? And it's just, and then you take it in and they're like, okay, well, it's going to be about 800 to fix that, but we have a special if you sign on till the day you die, we'll give you this iPhone, whatever it
Yeah,
is now.
it's true.
And then you
Although
sign it.
Apple did get sued recently, and they had to come out and say that they wouldn't do it anymore. Where the battery slowly like got
Oh yeah,
horrible, where it wouldn't charge.
that's called planned obsolescence. And a lot of
Yes.
companies do it. But also, did you notice what this pisses me off? Because I was at my parents and my mom's like, my dad wants, or your dad wants to do Facebook Marketplace, but he can't put Facebook on his old iPad because he has an old one. And that pisses me off when because that's how they do the planned obsolescence is they slowly make it so you can't download anything. It's like, no, it's not compatible, you old bitch. Get yourself a new iPad.
Hmm, I didn't even know they did that.
Yeah. What about this thing? I don't want to do that one. Everything the IRS does. I've never had a problem. God dang it, knock on wood.
Yeah, I'm knocking on it too because I got a big
Um,
return this year, and I think I fucked something up. But
well, you did your own, didn't you?
yeah, I always do, but this year it was like I got like 7,000 more back than I ever get, and so it kept asking me if I wanted to review it, and I was like, "No, give me the 7 extra thousand. I don't want to review anything. Come on, come on, come on. Where's my check? Is the IRS going to find out?" And the check came, and so now I'm waiting for them to call and be like, "Hey, there was a mistake. Give us that 7 grand that you've already spent back."
Oh yeah. Yeah, they'll take that back with a little bit of something else too, you dumbass. I love that at least once a week you confess to some crime.
I didn't do anything illegal.
He did TurboTax and he's not good at math. Um, what about this one? This is kind of a deeper one, and this is something that other countries don't deal with, but we do. And that is the work requirement in America versus European countries, where you would go and you work a couple hours a day and then you take a holiday. And when you're on a holiday, it's like, don't bother me. Or you have a baby and the mom and dad get to stay home for like a full year to bond with the baby. In America, it is very much like you gave birth on Friday, so we'll see you Tuesday.
It's true.
And
There's
that's messed up.
they have a thing. My buddy's like an engineer for Microsoft, and he's a very important piece of what they do. And so he gets a thing that I didn't even know existed called a sabbatical every 2 years, where they
Yeah.
basically tell him for 6 months you go away and you don't think about work. You're not allowed to.
For 6
6
months.
It's a long period of time because it's to prevent burnout. They
Yeah.
need this guy to be on his game, and so every 2 years for 6 months, a sabbatical, go away. You're paid your full dues. You are not allowed to do anything work related. I'm not important enough to ever have a sabbatical.
I want one.
Yeah,
so bad.
you're
I
on
want
one right
one.
now.
And I want to, yeah, but I'm not getting full pay. My sabbatical sucks. I want like a company to be like, bitch, here's your check every single month. I think that is amazing. And I do think that it's sad, but I think that's it's a different culture because my old co host, who I did a morning show with for like 16 years, he was from that era where it's like you're puking, you come to work.
Yeah.
You know, you and I come from the era where I'm like, don't bring that shit to me. And then I take it to my kids, and then Christmas is ruined. He always got the vomits during Christmas, and he would just use the trash can in the studio. And I would just sit there and be like, that is so gross. Because you're in a room the size of a closet
Yeah.
together. So it's
I've never worked
practically
with a
like a
co-host, but
French kiss.
it's weird. It's weird that I'm younger than you, but I'm more on his side with that. I've never worked with a co-host, so it's always been just me alone in a little tiny room. But I've always been like, especially in our line of work, if I don't do it, someone's gonna fill in for me and I don't trust them to do it. And it's so like
It's like
ratings and
fear based. It's
well,
fear
no,
based.
it's my own mind. This is a me problem because you everything is based on performance in our business, and I'm afraid. Like if my ratings are going to tank and they're going to suck, I want them to suck because of me. I don't want them to suck because I was out because I was puking. So I go in. I don't miss days
What?
of work. I've never used a sick day.
See,
Never.
but here's where this is where it's just insane to me. Is I remember one morning he came in, he was totally fine. We do the show, we're going through, and he starts looking pale. And I go, Scott, are you okay? Like you kind of look pale. He goes, oh, my side hurts. And I'm like, your side hurts. Okay. Well, do we need to like go to the doctor? No. It's fine. And slowly he starts bending and crouching over more and more as we go on. And finally, I'm like, I need to call an ambulance because you are like in a fetal position. And yet he still would crawl up to do a dumb ass break on the radio. And then he would crawl back down. And I'm like, I got to take you to the hospital. His appendix was like, he could have died. He could have died. And I'm like, was that break that no one is going to remember? Was that worth possibly dying over? See, you
Crazy.
got to stop, Sean. I would always
All right.
preach to him
Well, if
and be
my
like,
side hurts and
stop
I
it.
turn white, I'll go to the doctor because my appendix might pop. But if I'm just puking and I got some bad beans at the Mexican restaurant, then I'm gonna just go ahead and puke them out while I'm doing my radio show. It's fine. The one thing that I will say too, though, along those same lines, I found this very interesting. In 2024, so at the start of this year, 6 months ago, at the company I work for, the
Yeah.
salespeople were given a new thing, and that is, and this is right now, as this is an old school, they get unlimited vacation time. They can take as much vacation time
Stop.
as they want.
Yeah, but isn't that the same as like COVID? I mean, aren't they kind of saying like you are now more free to work from home?
No, you can take the day off. Like you
You
still
don't
have
even
to
have to
plug it
worry
into a
about work.
system. You
You
have to
do
plug it
still
in.
have to
Yeah.
plug it in. So
Well,
there's
here's the one thing that it's not for everyone at my office. This is only the salespeople. Now you got to remember the salespeople work off of 100% commission. So if they don't work, they don't
yeah,
get
that's
paid.
true.
And I think that's kind of the mindset is like you want a paycheck, you should probably go out and sell some radio.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That would make sense. Are you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
This is
Hmm.
let's do this as the final one.
Yeah.
Um,
It
it
better be good.
is
Come on, drum roll, please.
well, and I agree with this. Calling a bank and never getting to a real person and just having like I guess the most far out question and it's like what here are 64 options and then you have to start over because you weren't really paying attention or the kid was yelling or something and then you start over and then you click on it oh but you called the wrong one and now I'm going to explain to you this and it's so true and it used to be you could say operator and it would stop the bot and
Isn't
it
that a
would
Jim Croce song?
operator. That's an Eddie Raven song,
No,
bitch.
no. Jim
What?
Croce sing an operator song too. The
He
one I'm
did?
thinking of.
Okay, that's not the point.
You
The
should
point
look it up. It
you
would be
should look
better
up
than the
Eddie
story
Raven
you're telling.
operate. You know what? We're signing off now. Now no one gets to hear this end of the story. I hope you have a wonderful day. Be sure to look at the Pet of the Week brought to you by Case. You know what? People be pissed at Sean. Write to
No,
him.
just
because
go
he-
listen to the Jim Croce
No.
song instead of this podcast. It's better.
You are such a dick. It is. Anyway,
You don't even like Jim Croce.
I love him. When
You don't
he-
know his most famous song called Operator?
That's not his famous song.
What's
It's
his famous?
Message in a Bottle, or it's If You Could Read My Mind, Love.
You don't know the
God, I
Operator
love
song?
him. How dare you say that? And how dare you say, well, he is better than this podcast. If I had to choose, I'd be listening to him now. Are you going to play Operator?
I can't. I have to save it to my
Then
computer.
sing
It's
it.
all-
Then
it's all-
sing it. I just sang one of his to you.
I can't get it to play. It's not.
Then sing it.
Can you hear
It's so
it
good.
right now? Can you hear what I'm playing?
No.
Shoot, I can't get it to play then.
A plus
Hold on, I'll put it
technology.
in my ear. Yeah.
No, you can't hear anything. Sean, you can't hear anything, you idiot.
It was squeaking.
At
real
this
bad.
point, I don't even believe there's a song by Jim Croce.
Go
called
look it up. It's
Operator.
good. All right. Okay. Bye.
Wait, dumbass. We got to do our goodbyes.
Oh yeah, the pet of the week.
The pet of the week. Go see him.
This
His
week
name
it's
is
not
Diesel.
a cat, is it?
It is not. No, it's the pet of the week, meaning it's going to be Diesel all week, and hopefully he gets adopted.
Sorry,
It's
Diesel.
we're working with My Second Home Rescue. So if you're looking to add to your family, this is the sweetest little pup. Pictures are on the screen if you're watching us on video, or you can just go
What
on to
happens
any
if
of our
Diesel got
social
adopted
media.
yesterday and he's no longer available today?
Then we move on to the next one because you know what? There are a lot of animals that need love, Sean. Not by you, but by good, strong
Definitely
people.
not by you. You're the one that kills them.
Accidentally.
Is this episode over?
Yeah.
No?
Yes.
Oh, it is. Okay, good. I'm pushing the button.